nearly opposite, but also even further south. It's gonna get some struggles with some of the teams that want to go El Paso, Montenuevo, and some of the further north teams. Raise your edge. They want to go Crystal Val. Let's see if they're gonna change it up. I don't think so. I think they're gonna commit to that.
It is our last match on Miramar. It's time for those teams to really step up, defend their place. I need to see teams like Reciprocity stop playing defense and start playing to win. And I think make the most of their last chance to play in the chaotic map. The next one's going to be about precision and experience.
Yep.
This one's still about rotations and gun mechanics.
Absolutely. Sending one down to prison as well because they saw nobody else dropping there. Why on earth not get that little bit of a spread loop going? And we are into it. Commentators, take it away. It's our last map of Miramar here for the final stage.
Oh, it's nice to say that, isn't it?
Yes.
No one was sat there going, oh, more Miramar, please. We're done with that. We've had enough. We want air angle. We want no more excuses. No, we're just not very good at Miramar. Oh, it's just holding them back. No, we want the big games. But there's a lot of points up for grab in this one, so they need to start turning up. And I think TSM and Rec, it can be talk to death on the desk, but again, the point still stands. They are not performing today, and they haven't been for the last couple of days.
Yeah, and you know we hear this a lot, where you know after Miramar, finally a different circle, by the way, we're going to be headed to the northeast. You know that we're not good on Miramar. Well, guess what? That's half the games.
Yep.
So I mean, if you're limping in with already half the games in the bag and hoping that every other game after this is going to be good, you're going to run into some issues, and you're really leaving a lot to chance there. And with Miramar, I think that there's a lot to criticize about how the map plays, but it does play, to its credit, 100% different than Erangel does, and that's a good thing. You have to have two sets of skills for each situation. And if you're not good on Miramar, that's not an excuse as a pro player anymore. It's part of the rotation. You have to get good.
Get good.
Get good.
Get good. All right, so who does this favor? Let's have a good look. See, Raise Your Edge, they don't need any more help. They've actually started to, you know, win games. Before it was like top 5 placements, consistency. Now they're, you know, starting to push a little further. It's worrying. Penta, loving it. The Vanguard, loving it. You even have TSM, not in a bad spot for once. This is good stuff for them.
To start. To start.
There's time, Lauren.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, TSM is not horrible at getting into position. They're horrible at utilizing their position in some cases. I mean, the whole, like, I talked to Gustav. I know he's a good player. Toffee's talked about it on the desk. That peak against Iroh, you're just, that's a bad, it's a bad chance to win that fight because you have no cover, and it's an SLR. It's 3 shots. Iroh can hit 3 shots. Everyone, it's like the NBA. Everyone can shoot. It's how you play. The
base level is high.
Yeah, the base level is extremely high, and the room for error is extremely low, and team is getting extremely shot to death by a 1911.
Feels bad. Pozo was the Sauna Boys for quite some time. Tornado have come on in, and it's gone really well to begin with. A free pickup and first death against the Finns. Bit of a shame for them. Obviously, they've been really enjoyable to watch. I think any Finnish team so far has been really fun to watch. We've seen a lot of talent coming from them, so I'm hoping we see more from them, but already put on notice by Tornado.
Yeah, no doubt. And Tornado has been having strong starts with the frags. But they actually, I mean, a lot of these teams, we talk about TSM a lot because they're kind of a lightning rod, because we all want some success from a big organization like TSM, who's been in PUBG for a very long time. But Tornado and a lot of these guys struggle to translate whatever their strength is into overall success. Penta is a great example of a team that has strong fragging, strong positioning, strong rotations, and you can see when you have those 3 things going for you, you climb the leaderboard rapidly. Chris has come, it's a coming out party for Chris. I mean, it's a tremendous tournament for him, and there's some other standouts there as well. But there's lots of room for improvement, especially on Miramar, but it's rough.
Now, I do want to say, early rotations from Rec. Now, obviously, they were on the extremities. There's no disputing that. They're in Val del Mar. They were very much southwest because they've got out playing first. Rotation shots on the way. You'll be hearing these go on. You might even see it in the kill feed if you're lucky. And the point is, though, that TSM, Rec haven't been going this early on rotations, and that's something the desk wanted, was to see them get a little bit more central, a little bit sooner, maybe try and vie for those central spots rather than coming in late. So they will take a long rotation route, but it's far earlier than what we've seen before. There's still plenty of other teams still in that looting phase.
Rec has actually been a bit of a surprise with how poorly their games have been going. And that last rotation we saw yesterday, or the last game, I should say, was kind of telling on maybe where they're at as far as planning is concerned. They're going on a northern swing right now. They're basically going to go all the way west and all the way north, which is warranted considering the circle, so I can't criticize too much, but they are getting dangerously close to where the Sauna boys are in Pozo. But they're going to, looks like they're all going to avoid that. So Raffy doing some bike tricks.
Show me the money, Raffy.
Bikes.
Bikes. I don't know how good their loot is. They didn't spend that long going there. It's got to be good enough. They dropped out pretty early, so you imagine they have quite a nice bit of time to get that loot. The plane pretty much started over there. Beyond that, though, who's gone for those early positions? We do see a couple of the scouts starting to start their play up. They're starting to look for what's available or who's already in position. And if you watch the previous games, which most of these teams should have by now, again, you'll know Raise Your Edge are going to be in that position. You know Vanguard are going to be in that position. You know Penta are going to be there. So you've got 3 relatively big names, even if Vanguard haven't been quite to the caliber we'd expect. They're still a dangerous team in these spots. So again, a lot of these teams will know where they're rotating towards, what they have in front of them, and they need to be very much theory crafting what's the best position for us here.
I think the north-south split that Penta will probably execute would be a good choice around El Azahar, and that's the police station. I know where that is. Yes, I nailed it.
That's a sick place to loot, to be fair. Because, like, does the loot still spawn under the floor, slightly in the prison cells?
In the prison cell? I don't know. I never go to El Azahar. I'm the superintendent of the power grid. Oh, my God.
Ooh, that's a bit of range.
That's,
Hello.
Wow, breaks go. Getting the kill.
Hello. I'm not going to lie, I really want Vikendi now. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's the next step, right? It needs to go under some QA, more testing, and more not only in the pro scene, but Wookie Book. Oh my God, the Wook Wook is a Wook Wook. The Wook Wook is a Bush Wook.
You've lost it.
I like the old Wookie Bookie. It's probably my favorite name to say.
It's a good name. It's a good name. What's the best team name for you to say, do you think? So I always like Na'Vi as like a team name.
Na'Vi is great.
You know? It's a good one. What do you think?
Quick, I think my favorite team name, just from an easy to say, is probably TSM. You know,
TSM.
It's easy to say. On the
you
reverse,
always go for the team solo mid. You really want to go for it.
I mean, all the words sound differently. You know what is hard to say? Raise your edge. Mulligan on that. Can we?
Well, but they're winning. If they were being like trash,
which is worse.
Exactly,
because we have to say it more.
If they were being trash, we'd be like, all right, guys, just don't. We can just refer to them as that team. No, they are being good. So Raise Your Edge get their name said a lot right now. Rec are finally, speaking of names, getting into the circle. I like that team though. I can't give them grief. I like them. They are getting into the circle on the northern side. They've made it there a lot earlier than before. But that central mass again has got a lot of players already starting to, kind of, I guess, compact together. You have Chris out there. You don't want to be messing with him. His individual talent is really starting to shine, which I've enjoyed over the last couple of days. I didn't get to see much because he was in Group A hands-on experience, but since watching him now against probably the harder sort of opponents to play against, he's really showing what he's got. I like that in him, but we'll see what everyone else can do. A couple of the later rotation teams are beginning that northern play, so for the sake of Rec, this is good that they moved early.
And Rec is probably going to continue to loot up where they've landed in Almada. Sorry, I completely botched that. I can't actually see what that says anymore. I can't even remember the town name. Someone's triggered, I'm sure. But regardless,
everyone's triggered.
The Rec rotation is going to benefit them in a little bit more time looting, which will probably mean that since their rotation phase started early, that they'll be able to make up for it now. But the center density is a little bit messy already. TSM is kind of tangled up with Raise Your Edge and SDF in the center, with Penta doing that north-south 2-2 split as kind of expected. That's a good choice for them, considering what this circle is looking like on the northern side.
Pile.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
I love loot piles.
You got any Pokemons?
It's so cool. I love loot piles, but then I always like, you know, you'll pick up like the vert grip, and then
they're
like,
playing Pogs.
They are. It's all legal, I promise. It's not all that bike. That bike is in danger, wobbling away. It does make it out of the size of personal courage. But yeah, I love a good loot pile. I always kind of keep some things to myself. It's like, oh, does anyone have any meds?
Nope.
8 med kits. Nah. Anyone got boosts? 25.
Yeah.
Just stay silent and walk
You're
away.
a bad teammate.
I'm terrible, but I'll win. It's fine. It's like, that's the balance. You know what I mean?
Got it.
You can be a complete dick as long as you win.
That's my career in a nutshell.
I was about to say, I've summarized you pretty well there, haven't I?
Red Diamonds, they're on the way out. They're rotating in the blue, and they're out west as well. So I think they're probably going to take a similar path on the western side that Reciprocity did. And they're beeping at each other, which is a plus.
Beep, beep. What's your favorite beep?
My favorite beep is the bus.
Ah, the bus. Is it? That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one.
Because it's so pathetic along with that vehicle.
Going up.
It sounds sad.
Please.
Yeah.
Let's look at who's in what spot. A lot of posturing. We know how this goes, right?
Yes, we do.
This is not, as much as we see these shots and one might go down, Penta's players could be in trouble here. We are seeing that. That's going to be Accelerate, finding a quick little pickup. That's nice, and it probably could be confirmed. I'm not sure, because Penta are quite far away. This was a potential 2-2 split. And I don't see his teammate too close by, unless Udyr does come back around. Potentially could. Accelerate aren't there. I mean, there's a third party. That's the only worry. If someone far away can spot this, then there's still danger.
I think that he pushed the ridge and just got popped in the face. So for Jokers, they're now going to have a line on Squeak. Yeah, as he comes up the side of the hill in the slow-moving buggy. That's an easy target right there. Senya's like, he's like, oh no! He saw him too. Squeaky's going to maybe escape. He spins, but Senya's not going to chase. He's wary of the ridge. And that's a smart choice, as now Rustinmar is just trying desperately to send help his way. Force Jokers off the ridge and save Squeak, and he's going to do just that.
I love our accents. Oh, that circle northeast.
Yikes.
A Vanguard grinning from ear to ear. Rec has so much room to play with. Raise your edge, pretty good spot here. Penta quickly on the move. Joker's aren't in a bad spot either. We've got a lot of teams in really strong positions, and they're strong teams as well who've been kind of underperforming to a degree. So this could be a big game for one of them unless they get crashed on. There's so many teams who have to find somewhere to go now.
Rec is actually going to continue their northern swing. I imagine they're going to come in just a little bit a little bit south of the top end of this new zone. There's a couple of compounds they could probably switch, take over and maybe do a split 2-2. Depends on what their game plan is, obviously. We'll see how it plays out. TSM, they're late in rotation. This is where they get into trouble. They're humming and hawing about how they want to move, and they're already having teams either get in behind them or in front of them. And that's the slightest difference. TSM's a terrific team, but the difference between a team that wins and a team that doesn't is the amount of time it takes to make those level of decisions. Now, we don't know what's going through their minds, obviously, but they're now moving into where Raise Your Edge has already moved to. And this is where they get into trouble, is rotating just a little bit too late, moving a little too late. We saw it with Turtle last game, where his team left without him. He died alone, and you just don't want to die alone. It's a sad end.
We all die alone in the end, but
wow, that's dark.
My sadness aside, got a little too real. I'll just go cry later. This is actually what Avenger was saying on the desk. Actually coming back to that, we'll return to that point, because Raise Your Edge are about to engage towards TSM, and it looks like Raise Your Edge are being very proactive in this. Already Gustav is found. We've got a nade coming back in from the Wookie Bookie himself. And actually, Fast Rail's had a bit of an issue there, so he's been sent packing. But again, this is a really awkward spot. TSM, I don't know if they can take this fight cleanly. Rory split. It looks like they want to confirm that kill. They're trying to hedge their bets. I don't mind this, but you cannot get split up too far here, because you can get easily, basically untradeable. It's very hard to get revives, very hard to get those kills back in. Raise Your Edge do have the cover to play out of, and TSM look a little nervous to engage on this.
And this is, again, Rory's on the flank, but he's by himself. There's no trade there. They're looking to try and confirm the kill, like you mentioned. Raise Your Edge now can re-engage, but there's no decisiveness here. I'm not sure if they want it. If you want to disengage, then disengage and leave as a team. If you want to engage, engage as a team. But now they're kind of filtering out one at a time, and Rory's going to push the next ridge. But TSM lost one for free, and they don't get any trade in return.
No.
And that was Turtle going down again, I believe, right?
I believe so. Now, again, the point I was saying at the time was that Avenger on the desk said he wanted to see Rec go central on third, which is this circle. And they actually have fought a lot harder for it. They will have to fight for this territory. It's not for free. You've got one of the Avenger guys in there, or Vanguard guys. God, why are your names so similar? And you have another team in there as well. So Alpachinki is in there. There's going to be a lot of fighting for this for Rec, but I prefer it. This is them being assertive. You do have a Accelerate Gaming towards the eastern side, Penta to their south. But this is what we wanted to see finally from them. I don't know if it's going to work out. We'll find out if Martin does know best on the desk.
We'll see, as we got a double drop on the south, but it might go unclaimed as teams are rotating away from it. Unless Team Ready can spot it, or maybe M19 comes across it, but that's a nice pickup for any squad. That's two crates right next to each other.
M19 might get it just out of sheer luck.
Yeah, they might just drive right past it. That'd be lucky for them, and it's in the zone as well. So for Accelerate, they're shooting now at the arriving Reciprocity. TSM has not left the area where they've just engaged, but they're going to stay.
Oh, Squeaky's found Rec potentially.
Yeah, maybe. Looks like it.
This is still quite a lot of range. As much as it looks very compact on the map, there's still a lot of availability to areas, and these teams know it inside out, so you're going to be fine in that sort of aspect. Looking beyond that, though, you've got to see where teams are. Who's holding a lot of the territory? Avangard do have a 3-1 split, I guess, so they've kept one player slightly further over on their own. Sauna Boys had a little bit of a scuffle there. We saw that going on. They haven't had to do too much for it. And actually, Rek are peeling off towards the northern side, maybe finding somewhere they feel is better positioned, or maybe they just don't want to sit that far to the south, feeling there's too much pressure.
Rejoining with Rye. They're still shooting around. SLRs, DMRs in play. Massive factor on Miramar are the DMR and their usage. TSM maybe now thinking they want to try and reinitiate this fight. Looking down south, seeing if they can get an angle. There's Maxi again with the M24. We've seen so many great shots from him, and he's actually looking at Rye. Now, if I'm TSM, I maybe listen to these shots, see if there's a down happening, something happens.
So well here.
Yeah, I mean, they could push on Rye here if they wanted to, but they have to wait and see how it kind of goes with Avangard if they get it down. There's the new circle. It's going to be circling around Tierra Branca. That is going to be Avangard benefiting. They have a lateral split, which is a little brave here. But there is TSM still has 3 strong. And now for Reciprocity, they don't really have to do too much. But again, they're doing this really wide split. I've seen this time and time again from Rec, where they have Shiv really far away from Skoom, and Raffi and Haxetti are on the edge of the zone in a compound. Maybe it's for vision, maybe it's just information gathering, but we've seen them get caught out for a couple of different times here. So for Rec, they have to be careful. Al Pachinki's there. Generally a good spacing in the zone, but for Tornado, they're going to have to probably deal with Q-Rage on their way in.
Yeah, I still don't know what to make of Q-Rage. They've had moments before where they've looked really good, but they've also kind of disappeared. Wanted's under pressure, and as is actually the rest of Raise Your Edge, we're seeing Maverick under fire, and that is the shot coming through. The SLR, I want to say comfortably in his hands, looking like it lands in. Oh, that's a shot.
I'm telling you.
You literally said, this guy is the guy to keep your eyes on. The aim has been crisp. It's been precise. He may have overstayed his welcome, but he's done really well to keep them under pressure.
Every game, there's a shot that he hits where it's just like, damn.
Where's TSM in this? They've seen the knock come in. They know that Raise Your Edge were there. They were one of the teams in this, so you should be reading the situation. I want to swing on board with them if we can and see how they're responding to this one, because they're one of the teams that were meant to be stepping up the pressure here. We have seen SDF losing a player, Team Ready claiming that one for themselves. Tixu's out on their own, but TSM, start making a plan here, boys.
Yeah, it looks like they're a little bit slow to react with that down onto Rye. I believe that was Rye going down on, or maybe not. Either way, they're coming in behind on the ridgeline. They might have the high ground cover now, but they will be exposing themselves to Maxi in that long arm, the M24. Sid is going to take down Tixu. But for Red Diamonds, they have been active in every mid game, but it hasn't really been translating. But it's putting them in great position on the scoreboard, but not necessarily to win games.
Now this is interesting. We have a lot of smoke up on the deck, but then bear in mind, Gamer Legion are to the south of them, so there is a potential other team to fold in. TSM need to be very smart about this. It's a very fine balance they need to walk now. Do you completely push towards Raise Your Edge? It looks like Wookie Bookie certainly wants to. He's very much up on his own, and we're watching Gamer Legion shooting at cars on the way. That could be interesting if Example goes down, but he should be able to force him off. And actually, Fast Road did find Wookie Bookie. I wish we could have seen that. Raise Your Edge are holding the ground, and TSM looked like maybe the calls were a little bit off, or maybe he committed on his own, or maybe he was allowed to, you know, go off if you're feeling it, try and push it if you have the angle, but it just didn't work out for him. They've lost so much here, TSM, and it feels like they've gained nothing.
Yep. I don't want to, I mean, I think we've talked about it enough. TSM has got to get it together. So for here's the push. Wookie Bookie by himself. You can see Turtle and Rory actually behind. That was Gustav down earlier. So I really I have no explanation.
I don't know if it's frustration, inexperience. I don't know, because Wookie Bookie isn't inexperienced. I can't give him that. As much as people say, oh, you know, there's pressure on them because of TSM. There's pressure on all of these teams.
Yeah, Gustav going down early really does seem to neuter them. I don't know what happens there, but regardless, TSM's 2 left. They're going to have to figure it out. There's still 16 teams alive. We're at minute 20, and this is where things get really crazy on Miramar. We're about to see another shift come in. The edges of the zone don't have too many players other than Team Ready. Oh, actually, I completely lied. Yeah, the south side has got M19 and Gamer Legion going at it.
Ooh, and we've just got another kind of team joining in. There's potentially Team Ready, shooting off a couple of bullets from afar. It depends how much they want to engage on this. M19 did pull up in the cars. They took a bit of a back and forth fight, but Gamer Legion have the high ground. They're holding on quite nicely, but M19 aren't afraid of these sort of fights. They have the SLRs, they have the SKS, they've got a Mini up on deck. They've got plenty to play with. It's just, can they get these shots to land? Next circle coming through is going to be big, though, and a third party towards Gamer Legion, a Vanguard finding that. That is very, very far away. This is actually going to be quite tricky for any northern side now.
So Scoom's got a foothold in the zone, and with this hard shift, they're just going to have to collapse on Scoom, I think, and just ride this out, let the hard shift happen, because this minute 20 to 23 is where we'll see probably 25 of these guys alive. There he is again. Oh, my God. Maxi is just hitting shot after shot. I know. He's so good. What a sniper. I like it. One of the best snipers in the game.
It's like a 500-ish meter shot, give or take. That's
math.
You just count the squares. The little white
You can count to 5?
Look,
I didn't realize there was a requirement for counting.
Our education system is very flawed, but 5 I can handle. I got fingers for that. It's fine. Beyond that, though, there is not much here to be looking at in the way of who's already in this circle. The Jokers are very central, but we've got to look at those outskirts because the Vanguard is still kicking with what they have on deck, which is actually pretty good. I'm kind of surprised how well they're doing. M19 have been in this weird fight for so long. Now they've got Jokers joining in. Turtles finally turned up, though. Third party again. Sadly for Gamer Legion, they got into a fight. It wasn't ended anytime soon, and now they're being picked apart.
This is good. I mean, TSM needs some kills at the very least. M19 and TSM are now sandwiching Gamer Legion, who will have no real good path into the zone. But TSM is in a similar position. They might be taking this fight on the edge, but they're going to have to run in pretty soon, and that southern shift is going to be hard.
Last man alive for Sauna plays. Playing for placement. It's all you can do, really, here. And he's going to be hearing all those steps going on around him. The northeast is going to crunch pretty soon. The northwest not far off it. Courage and Tornado having a fight. Raise Your Edge are holding that side of the circle too. TSM, pick where you're going to go here because you've got so many teams in your way. You're going to be seeing Nookie basically prone the entire time. He will not move here unless he has to. There is no way he should be taking fights from that position against a full team. Tornado, however, might be forced into it because they are not safe right now. They have Raise Your Edge behind them to the south. You've got Courage up in the north, and it's a race to get to the high ground, hold the line, and then try and lock out the other team.
Turtle goes down on the edge. He did push in with a vehicle, and Jokers will punish him, and now it's only Rory left. No res coming for Turtle, so that's essentially a confirmed kill. And for old Nook, he's going to stay prone. And look at that northwestern side. There's 3 separate teams. We got Q-Rage, Rye, and Tornado.
Show us Raise Your Edge, please. We've switched over to the other fight. They have finally come into the battle of things, and it is Fast Rail doing it. This is Accelerate here. The nades are going back and forth. Wreck finally chiming in. That's Raffi finding shots towards Snoopy. We are seeing Tornado holding the line, but the context of that is kind of hard to work out here. Up and over the edge, they peak. Raise Your Edge come out on top. They turn it around on a dime. Tornado gets completely swept aside. Raise Your Edge need to be careful, though. You can't overextend. 2 fights back-to-back might be too much, and I think TSM just got eliminated.
Yeah, 14th place for them. What can you say? Inuctive has downed set, but probably can't confirm. Rec actually in that engagement had a couple of kills themselves, and now it is... Oh, damn! Senpai is going to take down Shiv at distance, and the res is maybe coming as Raffi's right on top of them, but Rec's looking good on the northeastern side. They've got Red Diamonds essentially zoned.
Oh, this is... Okay, this is tough. I still want to keep my eyes on Raise Your Edge and Courage potentially what's going on here. That nade bounces a little too far. Bestlog does live to fight another day. Hacksteady has to flex back here. He has to fall back towards his teammate. Sid could have punished that.
Oh, it's a golf it shot. Oh, that was close.
If that banked in, that would have been impressive. Scoom, though, be careful here. They're being a little bit half-handed with us. The blue is moving. It's forcing them to you. But look at the flank.
Senpai.
Look at Senpai. Right around the back.
Watching.
He finds one, but he can't complete on towards Hacksteady. He's going to push forward. Oh, he gets caught in the heels. Raffi kept them safe from afar. That's incredible play from Raffi wherever he is in the hillside. He is just hold that down. Hacksteady is barely alive. He is very low on HP here. Bestlock on one side of him. And that guy is a beast. You do not want to underestimate him. But it looks like Rec are living to fight another day. I do not know how they've stayed alive here.
That was pretty damn close. Bestlock is still there, though. He's their best player. So let's see if he can get anything going. Hax is getting smoke support now, and they're going to go for the res on Scoom. They should stay 4 strong. Raffi getting pressure on top. It's going to be Accelerate, who's heard what's happening on the northern side, and they've come and do investigate a little bit as Raffi and Shiv are going to have to hold the top side.
Raise Your Edge is still fighting as well. They're actually... Oh, wait, where was that?
Well...
Team Ready just went out.
It happened. It's on the southern side. Looks like they try to make a vehicle push, and Penta just punished them. I would be my best guess.
this is so hard on the outskirts here. So many teams are locked in. We are finally seeing Rec getting joined in by a third party. You said there was potential for that. We thought Accelerate could be the one, but it's actually from the other side of Vanguard have line of sight on it. Raise Your Edge are desperately holding on. They have a couple of players still up towards the northwest. Courage could turn this around on them. You can see Fast Rail making a bit of a run for it, and now everyone else is going to start trying to make those last-second plays. Hamster goes down. You know the Gamer Legion are down to the final couple of players, and actually that's gone pretty poorly for Squeaky. They're pulling right up in towards Alpachinki.
Scoom died to the zone. They never res Scoom. And now it's Hack City going down because they have no support, as now it's Bestluck coming back to haunt them in the northern side. Shiv is there, and there goes, I think that was Rec.
Raise Your Edge just got caught on the northwest there. They were in that extended fight with Courage that, simply put, Courage had the better position on the circle. They were able to keep that many players up. We are still seeing Penta racking up the kills. That's not too surprising. They're down towards the southeast. Central is Jokers. You have M19 here. That southern side is quite sparse. Ruffy's nade! Excellent play from the remainder of Rec, pushing their way forward, trying to fight their way in towards some form of safety, but there's a lot of teams around them. Avanga are not far. AP are not far. There are a lot of people watching this side, but that northern edge is not clear yet. M19 are pinned on this hill, and that is not safe territory. Courage are raining in bullets, and we are going to see who can hold on now.
Now it's Shiv. Did we lose Raffi at some point? Potentially. There goes Nookie. So that's Sonaboy's out in 8th place. And this is a pretty rough field. There goes F19 as well. And Penta has cleared out the entire southern side. They've got terrific line of sight. They've got great control on the compound. The north is going to sort itself out. There goes Shiv. Raffi is alive somewhere, but he's going to have to try and now res.
Oh, for how long?
No, he's in trouble now.
Those traces look so deadly. Dips into the blue. Is he still alive, Raffi?
Barely.
Down to the last life left. Surely. Alpachinki's on the other side as well. They know this, but I don't know if you can deal with it. Raffi has to work his way forward. Look at him trying to dodge these bullets. A 360. He goes down in style at least, but that's a better placement than before for Team Rec. That's one benefit. Now we're down to 5 teams here. Vanguard in the open. Snoopy, what are you up to there? Was
Where's
that just
Maxi?
a mad play? Where's the trade back in? Maxi needs to land one of these. He's got a nice bit of an angle to work from if he stays unspotted, but it's going to be Courage stealing the kill coming in. This is going to be such good play from these guys. Zoom. I don't know what to make of these guys. They've somehow lived through all of these fights. They have a good amount of their players still. They had the harder side of the circle, and they're one of the last teams standing. Vanguard looked solid, but the Jokers are the ones who've been holding on this entire time. They've had that compound for, what, 3 circles now?
Yeah, they just need to hang out. I mean, Joker's looking really good. And you can see how they have this 2 split. There's no taking it away. Actually, it's a 2-1-1. They've got the whole compound to themselves. Penta is looking on with jealousy as they've tried to push a little bit into the zone. They do have a foothold on, I believe that's Kaint. He's got a shack to work with, maybe a small ridge. But Q-Rage on top of that hill has been playing a nightmare for every single team trying to get out of the northern side. They're still harassing Avangar and Alpachinki. Avangar, I think, is going to use the low side of the ridge to get a little bit of cover and into the zone. But it's not looking good as the Jokers are going to be able to see them as well from the gas station.
Yeah, you're just hoping that Penta are keeping all of Joker's attention, but with their split currently as it is for the Jokers, they don't need to be watching, you know, these needless angles. They can depend on Senya, they can depend on Dimash, they can depend on the other 2 to hopefully be on a turret. That's what you're banking on here. Penta have worked their way forward, finally forced out of their compound. The northeast will be Alpachinki, the northwest, Vanguard, and mostly Q-Rage or Courage, as the Jokers now keep popping off these shots, working down what they have. Chris finally makes a bit of an appearance, puts a couple of bullets out, but that was with the AK, as Penta have snuck their way forward, banking on those smokes to create a path.
Looking good so far. And for Q-Rage now, they've not quite lost their ridge, but they're getting forced slowly down the hill. We've got one more ship coming. And Max is getting closer and closer, and now Jokers have decided they're going to start punishing Q-Rage as they try and get down. And Phosphare did take another, that was another Avangar member down.
They lost out on Higgy in the meantime. They're doing the best they can. They're being very deadly with what they have. I don't know how long they can hold this side, so you might as well just try and rack up those kills. Suddenly, though, all eyes turn towards them. They've been racking up bodies, though. I'd love to see their kill count. Penta has 7 kills as well. Low-key, just working their way forward, doing really well for themselves. 14 players, 5 teams, and no one can really pull the Jokers out of that compound. There's nothing to be done about them, and there's no safety left for Courage. They've got so many angles watching them down. Jokers are racking up the kills, but I don't think they can confirm them.
I don't know about that res, and they're going to continue to get pressure. Phosphare's essentially just securing a 5th place now, but if he's got any smokes, now would be the time to try and smoke his res, but it's going to be Kemba finishing off Kofist from far away, and only Phosphare is left as the Jokers are in complete control. They
really are. They've got such perfect placement. The circle's never going to move away from all of them. Okay, 2 of them might suffer on the cross, but look at the kills. You've got Senya coming in. catches Phosphor. That's now Courage gone down. That's them done. They did a good bit of impact while they could. Now, how do you see this work out? Because you've got Penta with very little cover to play with, and not that close to the circle. Alpachinki closer to the circle, but again, it's that death run down a hill. And then you have a Vanguard, the last player alive, is just desperately holding on as long as he can behind this rock. But it looks like the Jokers might be working that out as well, or they're going to try and take that area over.
Look at this. Kemba's going out to... Kemba's just running at Maxi. He's like, no, I want this kill.
All right.
Just for the molly. What a psychopath.
Kemba, are you insane? Are they willing to do this for the sake of one player, or do they want this territory? It's not a bad position to be in. If he can just stay alive and be a nuisance, they have a man in the circle in a very unique spot. Maxi could be a pain in the ass for him, though. Penta look like they're being pinned now in the field to trying to make their play slightly to a better position, but Chris gets caught out. He can't get away with it. There's so little space between them. They have a car. I guess they could try and crash something, but I don't know how far that's going to get him, Moses.
Nice res. I'm not sure if they have a line of sight on the Uters, but yes, just
the butt's
barely.
showing.
Yeah.
A little too thick.
A little too thick, and there's 2 down very quickly. Penta, they're in trouble now. They've got a great placement, and it's going to be run, run, jump as Super Mario tries to get away. But here comes the late game vehicle push as for some reason Maxi's still alive, but Senya now in a great position.
Plays, how are you still standing?
Shoot him! Oh my god, he's reloading. Oh man.
They've actually made it into a decent-ish position. Now you're going to see the rest of the remainders of Penta trying to make it. Oh, it's going to be on the buggy. That is not ideal. Throws down beside it, but actually he's still alive. Wait, a Vanguard finally go down. 1-for-1 trade out. Kemba pushed too far, but you can see instantly Jokers trading back in. They have enough players to do that, and the Jokers are being assertive. Look at Dimash, look at Senya. They're pinning him out. Kemba went down towards the remainder of the, well, kind of, I guess, drew out the attention from the remainders of a Vanguard, but now we're seeing Jokers putting down pressure everywhere. Alpachinki is eliminated. We're down to one team really standing. It's Jokers. There's nothing more to be said. They had perfect position on that circle, and when it finally came down to it and that circle began to move, they pushed off the back of it and played it assertive.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say, Penta got a 2nd place out of that. Kaint managed to salvage what would probably be a 5th place finish and turned it into a 2nd place finish. Avangar, same thing there. That was just Joker's game to lose. They secured the game. Not much to say about that. I think that they just had terrific zone control. They had complete dominance over the end game there. So